the I stopped eating red meat in college, which was 2 years ago. Okay, no, it was 22 years ago, I think. But seriously, I turned 40 this year. But I digress. Maybe that's why, no red meat. And then, but I was fine with eating chicken and fish until it was a couple weeks after Burning Man in 2007, and I was in the Hugmobile. It was the premier tour of the Hugmobile. We're doing our 5-city Hug tour and going from Seattle down to San Diego, hitting a bunch of cities along the way and doing Hug Nation and meeting Hug Nation Love Army people. And we were in a truck stop, a rest stop, and we were parked, along all these macho trucks. And I was in there with Spotman, and we were sitting there, and I was just reading late at night, and I was reading some excerpts from Gandhi's autobiography. And it's funny because when I went back to find the passage, I couldn't find it, so maybe I remember it differently, or maybe I read it wrong. But what I remember reading about his decision, or not his decision, but his opinions on vegetarianism, which he was devout about, to the point that when his daughter was diagnosed with an illness, and the Western doctor said, "Your kid needs milk. It needs cow milk, or this kid's going to die." Gandhi said, "My faith says no. So we're gonna no." And even having a doctor tell him that he was putting his daughter's life at risk, he stood by his faith and his principles, and the daughter was okay, came out all right. Let's talk about it's like a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego kind of story. So I was reading this passage, and it said something about, the way I heard it or interpreted it was that that there is nothing wrong with eating meat. There's nothing that is outside the laws of nature. There's nothing that's outside of any natural order of things for humans to eat meat. But humans have a gift that is special. Humans have the ability to think and reason and be conscious of all of their choices. And so humans have the ability, if they want, to choose decisions, to choose paths that are outside of the cycles of nature. They can actually go above these cycles and choose love, choose compassion, and not contribute to suffering. Even though it is totally within the realm of natural law for them to do so, they can choose to be above, higher, be an entity, a being that does not contribute to suffering in the world. At least in that way. And once I read that, I was like, oh, man. I don't think I can eat meat anymore. Like, I think that at my best, I'd like to be making that choice. And then over the years, more and more things that I read about it just kind of strengthened it. When I looked about the environmental benefits of it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I can leave my lights on a little bit longer and not be adamant about turning them off when I leave the room, because the impact of not eating meat on environmental things is just massive. And then the more I learned about factory farming, and the more I learned about the conditions that animals are in, and the more I was like, okay, there's all these reasons why I feel good about this. But really, the thing that's changed it in my head was reading Gandhi's perspective on kind of this choice that we have, this free will choice that we have, and it hit me.